Hello and welcome to Vietnam Journal, our daily English news bulletin on NETVIET VTC 10. I'm Ngọc Anh speaking from Hanoi. Every day we'll bring you comprehensive and up-to-date information about Vietnam and following our major stories on Saturday. Nokia to announce inauguration of new factory in Vietnam. Vietnamese young people enjoys Japan's kudal. And Vietnam's Trang An tourism site to be introduced on CNN. Finland-based Nokia will officially announce the inauguration of its new mobile device plant in Vietnam-Singapore Industrial Park in Bắc Ninh Province on April the 23rd. The information was recently confirmed by Nokia's communication representative in Indochina and the Philippines.
Nokia will hold a press conference on April 23rd to announce when the plant will come into operation and provide made-in-Vietnam handsets to the market. Nokia expects the plant to operate at 95% of its full capacity in 2014, churning out some 45 million products per quarter. The plant was initially capitalized at 200 million euros and the capital will be increased in the next few years. Earlier this month, Nokia has signed an agreement with two Vietnamese universities to develop a mobile application center. Nokia already owns 10 factories in Europe, Latin America, and Asia.
Vietnam urgently needs to develop supply chains in key sectors such as electronics, textiles and garments, as well as automobile manufacturing. The situation was underscored at a recent seminar organized in Ho Chi Minh City by a multilateral trade assistance project between the European Union and Vietnam.
At the seminar, officials emphasized that an improved supply chain would increase added value for major export industries. A better supply chain would also help negotiations in the upcoming free trade agreement between Vietnam and the EU. Support industries are critically important for Vietnam to participate in the global value chain. Also, Vietnam needs to develop an automobile sector. Currently, Vietnam has a total of 300 accessory and part manufacturing companies, but they are only available to serve the domestic demand. The textile and garment sectors, Vietnam has 3,700 garment enterprises, in which garments account for 70%, while textiles account for 30%.
And following is some other economic news in brief.
Quảng Ninh province in northern Vietnam has recently certified China's Texhome textile project, capitalized at more than 300 million US dollars. This is the first FDI project certified after Quảng Ning's Investment Promotion Conference 2012. Texhome Textile Group is China's leading textile company in Vietnam, with two plants in Dong Nai and Thiên Giang province of Vietnam.
Vietnam earns $2 billion from tourism services in the first quarter this year. Tourism agents served 1.9 million international visitors and 9.6 million domestic travelers in the period. Vietnamese tourism is more and more attractive thanks to efforts in promoting tourism products, developing trademarks, improving infrastructure at tourism sites, and diversifying entertainment services.
Vietnamese government and footwear makers are seeking new opportunities to approach small and medium-sized distributors in the U.S. At a conference in Hanoi held recently by the Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association and the Vietnam Leather and Footwear Association, enterprises are provided with up-to-date market information and the consumption trend in the U.S. to cater to local consumer tastes. Last year, export turnover reached $6.9 billion for textiles and $2.4 billion for footwear. These figures represent 43.4% and 30.2% of each sector's total export turnover, respectively.
Salangan's Nest Khánh Hòa opens a representative office in Phnom Penh, Cambodia on Wednesday. Vietnamese ambassador to Cambodia said that this was a meaningful event for Khánh Hòa to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and Cambodia. The ceremony also marks the initial success of Khánh Hòa enterprises in expanding investment activities in Cambodia.
Adobe products make up 70% of the global construction material market. However, the percentage in Vietnam is very low. The country is developing adobe brick production to protect the environment and farming land.
Producing 1 billion of heated clay brick with standard size will need 1.5 million cubic meters of clay, approximately nearly 75 hectares of cultivated land, with a depth of exploitation of 2 meters, 150,000 tons of coal, meanwhile emitting into the environment 0.57 million cubic meters of greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, and other dangerous emissions. It is estimated that by 2020, Vietnam will need 42 billion brick units. If all of them are made of clay, it will cost between 57 and 60 million cubic meters of clay, equivalent with 2,800 to 3,000 hectares, emitting 17 billion cubic meters of carbon dioxide. They will affect badly on the national food security and natural resources.
Các nhà máy gạch của chúng ta đất đồi thì ít, chủ yếu đất đồi thì dùng cho các nhà máy hiện đại lớn, công suất như là 30 triệu đến 100 triệu viên một năm á, thì người ta dùng đất đồi và phương tiện thiết bị hiện đại thì mới làm nổi. Còn chủ yếu các lò gạch thủ công, các lò nhỏ nhỏ thì đất ruộng hết, hầu hết đất ruộng hết. Do đó đất ruộng này ảnh hưởng rất lớn đến canh tác, mà bây giờ bảo đảm an ninh lương thực á, thì cái này là vấn đề.
With the development of technology, lightweight adobe brick now has more advantages compared with clay-heated brick and other construction materials. Those advantages include free clay composition, no environment pollution, hard structures, self-heat-proof, and etc. Especially the cost of new materials is also cheaper than traditional one. Using the new car bridge in construction will save as much as 60% mortars. Adobe brick has satisfied all the requirements in total development industry and construction materials in Vietnam.
Quan trọng nhất là nó rất là góp phần bảo vệ môi trường, không có sử dụng cái nguyên liệu là cái đất sét nung mà lâu nay cái truyền thống của chúng ta hay sử dụng. Bên cạnh đó thì cái tính năng của gạch nhẹ rất là tốt, ví dụ như là cách âm, cách nhiệt, rồi chống cháy, cho nên đó là một cái sản phẩm mà các nước tiên tiến trên thế giới đều sử dụng và nó là một cái công nghệ mới đối với Việt Nam.
Nowadays, many big projects such as multi-story apartment, hotels, skyscraper, and so on, architects always give priority to high-quality construction materials. However, the new car materials are still unfamiliar with consumers. There is also a potential chance for many companies to start their investment in producing new car products that supply for versatile customers.
Macroeconomy, foreign investment, business, society and culture, arts, education, tourism. Vietnam Journal. It's not just news, it's life in Vietnam.
Welcome back to our news bulletin. A presentation on kudal, one of Japanese unique cultural treasures, took place in Hanoi on April the 12th. The event was jointly held by the Japan Foundation Center for Cultural Exchange in Vietnam and the Shino Ryu Kudal Club.
Kudal is the Japanese art of appreciating incense. Dating back 500 years, the appreciation of incense is similar to that of tea in chado or flower arrangement in ikebana. Kudal is a kind of fragrance which is burned from a fragrant branch of a tree. The event attracted the participation of 7 Japanese experts. They shared with Vietnamese young people the knowledge of kudal and performed the method of enjoying the fragrance. The participants enjoy the fragrance of oud with their hearts and spirits.
Trang An Eco-Tourism Complex in Vietnam's northern province of Ninh Bình will be aired on global TV network CNN. This information was announced at a meeting between Vietnam's tourism authorities and Shamila Gopalan, advertising director of the cable news network in Southeast Asia.
At the reception, Mr. Hoàng Tuấn Anh appreciated CNN for having broadcast programs introducing Vietnam's cultural and tourism events to international friends over the years, and hoped for further cooperation with the network in the near future. Shamila Gopalan, account director for the cable news network in Southeast Asia, said that CNN agrees to cooperate with Vietnamese authorities to promote Vietnamese tourism. Covering an area of 1,961 hectares, Chang An Ecotourism Complex consists of limestone mountains, caves and crystal rivers. Many relics of prehistoric man dating back from 5,000 to 30,000 years ago in Bui Cave and Chunk Cave are preserved here. The vestiges of historical temples and ruins are kept untouched today.
Apart from village wells and gates, the cranes are a symbol for Vietnamese rural areas. For centuries, this bird has been featured in countless Vietnamese idioms, poems, and folk songs. Why has this bird been so attached to Vietnamese rural culture and farmers? Let's go and learn more about the special relationship in the following report.
The crane has been a symbolic bird in many cultures, with records dating back to ancient times. Crane mythology is widely spread and can be found in countries like China, Korea, and Japan. The Greeks consider crane a bird of omen. In Vietnam, crane is a good friend of farmers. There are so many similarities between the bird and the farmers' work and lives that crane has become a character in various Vietnamese folk songs and proverbs. For years, Dr. Phan Đăng Nhật has been collecting proverbs and idioms about crane composed by Vietnamese farmers. He knows exactly why two characters have been so close to each other.
Con còi trời sinh ra là để mà ăn trên nước, nó không ăn ở trên cây được đâu. Chân dài, mỏ dài, chân thì lêu khêu như thế, mỏ dài, cổ dài. Những cái cấu tạo tự nhiên ấy, không biết từ bao đời nay nó hình như thế, thì nó chỉ ăn trên nước. Người nông dân thì cũng gắn với nhân dân Việt Nam thì cũng gắn với lúa nước. Vì hai cái nhân vật này tạm gọi là nhân vật có một mối quan hệ chặt chẽ với nhau như là số phận, mà số phận đó là nền văn minh lúa nước.
The rapid urbanization process in the rural areas has shunned away countless flocks of crane. Nowadays, it's very hard to find a flock of crane flying about rice field in suburban areas of Hanoi. To preserve the natural treasure of the village, Dong Xuyên villagers in the northern province of Bắc Ninh have sacrificed more than 4,000 square meters of their arable land to plant bamboo for crane to live on. Bird nest on good land. Nowadays, the surface area, including water, for crane has been 31,000 square meters large.
Lớn lên mà chúng tôi thấy làng mất, chúng tôi về phải trồng luôn những cái cây cổ thụ ở làng, rồi thì những cái khóm tre để cho nó có cái biểu tượng của người dân Việt Nam. Dân tôi thấy nắm bắt là rất tốt cỏ đậu, cho nên là họp dân lại đồng tình là cả làng là giữ cái đàn cò này. Mà có nghị quyết của dân ấy là sống, ai mà có hành vi phá hoại đàn cò này thì sống thì không chơi, chết thì không đưa.
Among all birds, the crane has always been the closest friend to Vietnamese farmers. The crane has efficiently helped them to forecast the weather, catching worms and insects to protect the rice crop. In this modern time, some villagers in some provinces of Vietnam have been aware of the decrease in the number of cranes in their areas. But those who are devoted to preserving and taking care of them are usually the elderly, and their only wish is that the younger generation will remain determined to protect the peaceful village symbol.
While the story about Vietnamese farmers attached to the cranes has wrapped up our news bulletin today. For comments and feedbacks, please send us an email to netvietdaily@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. We wish you a happy weekend and see you again tomorrow.